Hello dear viewers, and thank you for tuning into Moose Motion. So taking a short break from the Skyline this week and working on, well, the Polara once again. Just doing a quick restoration so we can do some burnouts.
Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, and thank you for tuning into Moose Motion. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed the content, comment below what you think, share with your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if you're new, and be sure you have your post notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new content. Anyway, thank you for your support, it's highly appreciated.
So we're gonna first start off with, well, fixing some of these loose parts and, well, removing that hood mainly so we don't damage it. But some of the window pillars here, well, I admit, weren't exactly fastened during the actual build process, so it's gonna be the first thing I take care of, because, well, during the stop motion process, I'm going to be, well, putting my hands all over this thing in and out of frame constantly, and I don't want to have to be fixing and moving, well, window pillars back into place when something shouldn't move in the first place. So we're going to just quickly pull those back and slide in a little bit of modeling glue, and then, well, evenly distribute it with a little sculpting knife, and then gently press the window pillar back into position, and, well, just wait for the glue to dry. And then once all that is done, you're going to move on to painting the windows once again, just kind of touching up that black so it looks all nice and neat and you don't have any, well, old glue mark sticking through exactly. Then we'll clear coat everything to make it look nice and shiny and new, just mainly so, well, all our angles are covered when this thing is basically being filmed in the stop motion process. You won't have any time to really fix any errors at that point. Once it's there, it's there. I mean, it is possible to fix it, but you run the risk of running, well, jank problems with odd objects moving when they shouldn't be, which personally just no stop motion animator really wants to deal with. That's a bit of a nightmare, especially when your characters fall over in particular, but it's, well, part of the game. One thing you can do that I personally like to do with my camera settings is set on a shadow effect, so that way it reflects basically the last image you took, so you know exactly where your last frame is, as well as the new frame that you're working on. It does kind of make everything a blurry mess, but it's honestly nice to keep track of your movements that way. Now that all the windows are done and shined up and ready to go, we're going to quickly touch up the valve cover here, and then move on to the next step, which happens to be kind of the hardest part about this whole restoration part, was making the plates, which were taken from suggestions from my, well, fellow followers at Tik Tok. So we're going to now work on this tiny little license plate that's pretty much no bigger than my pointer fingernail. Like, it's small. It's not exactly great to work with here. We're dealing with very, very tiny strips of clay that you basically have to try and make enough room to spell out words. So this is a part I would definitely not be recommending for beginners, because even with my 25 plus years of experience, this is a part that generally is never that much fun, and sometimes you just don't have the full space to actually spell out what you want. And unfortunately, that was kind of the case with the rear plate, so we're just going to, well, spell out fast for the first section, and then just do a little emoji for the back, because I tried spelling lime, but it was not exactly easy. So I figured, well, let's just compromise by doing a little emoji lime. It looks kind of funny at that point anyway, so let's just go with it. And besides, I don't honestly mind calling this wagon the fast lime from now on, because it's rather suiting, considering it's, well, rather vibrant green color. Then once all the little plate parts are put in place, we're going to paint them nice bright colors, so that way it, well, stands out a lot more, because obviously the oven-baked clay stuff kind of all blends together. And once it's all painted, those raised edges definitely make a big difference. It looks a lot more, well, legitimate and looks like a plate at that point, and pops nicely. And as always, be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the content, comment below what you think, share with your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if you're new. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled for Milton the Moose as well, and if you timestamp correctly when he shows up in the video, you will get a shout out in the next how-to video. If you're already a subscriber, I just want you to know that I highly appreciate your support. You're the reason I keep working very hard on all these little models and stop-motion projects, so be sure you have your post notifications turned on so you don't miss the, well, Polara's debut. And then once we're done painting the plates here, we're going to move on to raking the entire body. By that, I basically mean using some sculpting tools, which are basically referred to as rakes. It's kind of just a piece of wire, or essentially a weird rake device that scrapes off a very small layer of clay. So we're basically just going to scrape off the top layer of clay, which, well, scrapes off all the dirt, essentially. It makes it look a lot cleaner, so we're basically just kind of giving the Polara a nice cleaning. Any rate, that's enough for me for now. I will talk to you towards the end of the video, giving you a brief run over of the restoration, as well as what videos to be looking forward to next. Thank you for watching! Now that we're at the raking portion, I will give one quick tip here. Generally, what I like to do is break it down into different color segments, so that way you avoid contamination, because obviously once you scrape the green layer, you want to obviously clean your rake in between doing the white one, because, well, otherwise you're just going to leave a bunch of weird, messy green streaks all over that white section, and contaminating it, and honestly kind of not exactly doing what the intended purpose was. So make sure you clean your tools in between your layers. Now we are at the end of the video. We'll do a quick before and after shot, and then we're going to get some, well, beauty shots, obviously, so that way we know what this thing looked like once it's nice and all cleaned, because honestly, once we start breaking in those tires and during the stop motion process, it's probably going to be broken and need another restoration after, because generally that's how these clay dolls work, unfortunately. So be sure you have your post notifications on. At any rate, I will probably work on the Skyline in the meantime, as well as that well, stop motion project, so I got my hands full. Anyway, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the content, comment below what you think, share with your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if you're new. Anyway, that's all from me. Till next time, take it easy.